Alright, hopefully you'll be able to see this well enough. Probably the main point of filming this is not so much to show you the whole process visually, but just to kind of talk through what I'm doing as well and give you some details that way. As far as belt speeds, since I'm just roughing out right now, don't need a whole lot of precise control. I'm going to be running this on the highest speed that my 3-step pulley will allow. Right now I got a fairly new 120 grit belt that seems to work just as well as the older 60 grit I was using, so we'll just leave that on for roughing out here. As far as table position, I adjusted this similar to my idea on my little angle grinder there. And this is raised right about to the point where I can get almost a 90-degree cut on the face with an 1/8 inch piece of material. That way I don't have to worry so much about finishing the edge. It'll already be fairly square. If I need to freehand it a little bit, maybe up and down, I will do that towards the end of the finishing process, but this should get me almost perfect the way this is set up now. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my respirator on because we don't want to breathe in all the dust this is going to put out, and I got my face shield on as well. So we'll finish grinding out this mild steel template, and this will be our practice piece for hollow grinding. Alright, just want to make note of a few things before I continue. Then I'm going to do a little bit more on camera, and I'll probably shut the camera off just to finish this. But as you can see, hopefully, I know the lighting's a little off here. I did kind of a rough grind around the perimeter and came within about a 1/16 to maybe an 1/8 inch of the scribe lines. This is just to get kind of my rough profile. I'll then take the rest down right up to the line on the grinder as I go along. But the next thing I want to do is just rough out these inner curves in the finger choil and then the rear choil here, as well as even just a little bit towards the smaller groove in the ricasso area. And the way I do that with this 8-inch wheel as I'm just going to track the belt past the edge, anywhere from maybe an 1/8 inch to as much as a 1/4 inch, depending. And then I can kind of use the corner of the wheel to get into the tighter spots, since it's a little bit sharper of a point there. And that usually works well for me for getting the larger finger choils just rough ground out. And then I'll switch to the 3/4 inch spindle on my small wheel attachment and finish it out like it's going to end up for the finished product. But I just wanted to make note of that before I started, so you'll know what I'm doing. And we'll go ahead and show a little bit of that on tape. And like I said, I'll finish the rest of it, and then we'll resume for the next part of the knife grinding. Go ahead and get my safety gear back on real quick. Alright, like I said, you get the mistakes and failures as well as my successes. Unfortunately, I think I've pretty much ruined this belt. Cutting the corners like that. I should have mentioned before, certain belts are actually designed so that they can flex. I want to say they're called J-flex belts. Other belts will take it if they're a little bit thicker back. This is a real thin belt. So just roughing that a little curve out on the corner. Just split that belt right there on the area, and as well as scribing it right on the edge of the wheel for pretty much the rest of the belt. I don't know if you could see that too well. Go ahead and move the camera. So yeah, maybe that wasn't the best idea. I have done this on other belts that aren't really designed for flexing before, and usually it's not a big deal for me, but this belt is a little thinner, and I was probably pressing a little bit too hard with this metal, so yeah, that's that belt. I might be able to split it down the middle and salvage it, just for maybe using some slack belt work on smaller pieces, but I probably won't put it on my contact wheel anymore, just because I don't want to risk marring up the exposed edges, which will now be present due to the decreased width of this belt. Fortunately, I do have another one or two 120 grit belts. I might go ahead and throw my 60 belt back on, just because it can flex and take the corners. But hopefully you got the idea of what I did there with the corner grinding, just by tracking it a little bit to the left or right. You can use the corner of the wheel to really hog out the material and not have to spend so much time on a slower small wheel attachment, which typically, because of the smaller spindle, you have to run at lower RPMs. just because they spin a lot faster than this contact wheel, and the bearings heat up really fast. But that's that. I think I've shown enough of the rough grinding procedure, definitely a lot more than I was able to show last time. Hopefully you guys get a good idea of that now, and I'm just going to shut the tape off, and I'll resume after I've finished roughing out my blanks, and then maybe I'll show you a little bit of hollow grinding and things like that. Again, buy belts that are designed for flexing. This one obviously wasn't. I ended up cutting it and increasing it too much, but lesson learned. Be a little bit more careful in the future. I need to buy new belts anyway, so that's that. Take note, and we'll resume a little bit later.